While everyone was asking ChatGPT to help write emails and plan vacations, something much bigger was happening behind the curtain. OpenAI wasn't just building a better chatbot, they were building a parallel internet. Even while doing so publicly, most of the public still hasn't caught on to OpenAI's true objective. Think about how you use the internet right now. You open Chrome or Safari, you visit different websites, you download apps, you create accounts, and you enter your credit card information over and over again. It's fragmented, it's clunky, but it's what we know. Now imagine a different version of the internet where all of that happens in one place, one interface, one conversation. That's what OpenAI is building, and they're doing it so smoothly that by the time you realize what's happened, they'll already be the foundation of your digital life. At OpenAI's most recent Developer Day, CEO Sam Altman showed off something that seemed simple on the surface. He demonstrated apps running entirely inside ChatGPT, Spotify, Canva, Zillow, all appearing right in the chat window, responding to typed commands. An engineer asked Canva to design posters for a dog walking business, then requested a pitch deck. ChatGPT suggested Pittsburgh as an ideal city to expand into. Then, without leaving the conversation, Zillow appeared with an interactive map of Pittsburgh showing houses for sale, which was then filtered down to 3-bedroom homes with yards. All of this happened in one continuous chat. No switching tabs, no opening new apps, no copying and pasting between services. This is what OpenAI calls Apps SDK, and they're rolling it out to developers right now. But here's what makes this different from previous attempts at building platforms. OpenAI isn't asking you to learn a new interface or download anything new. They're meeting you where you already are in a conversation and then seamlessly weaving the entire internet into that conversation. It's so intuitive that you barely notice the infrastructure being built around you. And it's not stopping at design tools and real estate searches. Expedia is letting you book hotels directly through ChatGPT. Coursera is bringing their courses into the platform. Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, OpenTable, Target, they're all coming. In addition, OpenAI recently launched Instant Checkout, a feature that lets you buy products from Etsy and over 1 million Shopify merchants without ever leaving the chatbot. You see something you like, you buy it. ChatGPT already has your payment information stored from your subscription, and the transaction is complete. No redirects, no separate checkout pages, no friction. But OpenAI isn't just adding shopping features to a chatbot. They're creating what they call the Agentic Commerce Protocol, an open-source framework built in partnership with Stripe that allows merchants to integrate their products directly into ChatGPT. When Instant Checkout was announced, Etsy's stock jumped 16% in a single day. Shopify rose 6%. When PayPal announced its launch of a digital wallet inside ChatGPT, the payment company's shares went up by 14%. The market understood immediately what was happening. OpenAI was building a new commerce layer for the internet, and they were going to take a fee from every transaction. But commerce is just one piece of the puzzle. OpenAI's CFO Sarah Friar stood on stage at a recent conference and laid out the company's vision in stark terms. She called it becoming a full-stack company. That means owning and controlling every layer of the business, from the bottom all the way to the top. And when you look at what OpenAI is actually doing, the ambition is staggering. At the bottom of the stack, there's energy. AI models consume massive amounts of power, and Sam Altman has personally invested in nuclear fusion companies like Helion. Then there are chips. OpenAI hired Richard Ho from Google, where he spent a decade developing the TPUs that power Google's AI models. OpenAI is designing its own processors now. At the next level of the stack are data centers. OpenAI will also build and operate its own massive data centers, just like Google and Amazon do. Then there are the AI models themselves, where OpenAI is already a leader in foundation models. On top of that, developer tools, with 4 million developers already building on OpenAI's platform. But it doesn't stop there. Distribution is key, so OpenAI bought Johnny Ive's AI gadget startup for over $6 billion. They launched their own web browser to compete with Chrome, and at the application layer, OpenAI hired Fidji Simo, the former CEO of Instacart, to lead an entire applications division. They acquired the startup Statsig for over $1 billion. And then, just to make their intentions crystal clear, they launched the OpenAI Jobs platform, a service that looks eerily similar to LinkedIn, the professional network owned by their partner, Microsoft. Let that sink in for a moment. OpenAI isn't just building AI models, they're building a parallel version of everything that makes the internet work, except it's all powered by AI and it all runs through ChatGPT. The genius of this strategy is that most people don't see the full picture. You're not thinking about infrastructure and full-stack dominance when ChatGPT helps you plan a birthday party or find the perfect gift. You're thinking about convenience, and that's exactly what OpenAI wants. While you're enjoying the seamless experience of doing everything in one place, they're quietly becoming the operating system for your digital life. Over 700 million people use ChatGPT every week. That's 9% of the entire world's population. That number was 500 million just a few months ago. The growth is exponential, and with each new user, with each new transaction, with each new app integration, OpenAI's parallel internet becomes more real, more functional, more indispensable. But here's where the story takes a less certain turn. OpenAI is building this empire, but they're doing it on a foundation that looks increasingly unstable. The company isn't profitable, they're burning through cash at an incredible rate. And the infrastructure they're building, they barely own any of it. NVIDIA isn't just selling them chips, they're investing $100 billion to ensure OpenAI remains one of the largest GPU consumers on Earth. Oracle is committing over $300 billion in cloud infrastructure, structured so OpenAI can scale up later, assuming they ever monetize at the needed level. CoreWeave is providing $22 billion in flexible GPU cloud deals to fill the short-term compute gap. Hitachi is wiring up power transmission and cooling infrastructure at a scale that rivals national grids. And AMD just granted OpenAI the option to own 10% of AMD for essentially nothing if they buy 6 gigawatts worth of chips. Read that again. These companies are making massive multi-billion-dollar bets that OpenAI will deliver on its promises. They're providing the infrastructure, the power, the computing capacity, all on credit, essentially, banking on the hope that OpenAI's revenue will eventually catch up to its ambitions. So OpenAI is in a strange position. They recently had to restructure their entire corporate arrangement with Microsoft just to be able to raise more money. They're expanding into e-commerce, job platforms, young gadgets, browsers, all while competing with the very companies they partner with. They're building tools that directly threaten established software companies. When OpenAI launched DocuGPT, an internal contracting tool, DocuSign's stock dropped 12%. HubSpot fell 50 points. Salesforce declined too. OpenAI's mere existence in a new space is enough to rattle billion-dollar companies. Nick Turley, head of product for ChatGPT, said something revealing recently. "We never meant to build a chatbot. We meant to build a super assistant. That's the real vision. Not a tool you use occasionally, but something that handles everything. Your work, your shopping, your social connections, your entertainment, your research, your daily tasks." OpenAI wants to be the interface between you and the entire digital world. Are you ready for this new era? Drop a comment below and subscribe for more AI insights.